This rather peculiar looking guitar is by Federico Shepherd, and it's a copy of a guitar by Simplicio, which Barrios owned and played, a guitar from the 1930s. And I think it's worth noting before we talk about the rather fine and wonderful qualities of this guitar, about the strange sound holes here. And I think this was a design explored in the 1920s and 30s, and I think the idea behind it was to allow a greater vibrating area.
This was the modern guitar, I think. That was the idea of Simplicio's,
yes.
Or Simplicio's idea, but obviously it hasn't taken off because still most guitars have the sound hole here rather than up there, and it's obviously completely just a circle. I find it odd as a player to have the sound hole there, but the sound of this particular guitar is great, so it doesn't affect it negatively in terms of sound. In fact, I think it's got one of the sweetest basses that I've ever really played, in terms of just how warm the lower E string is. But yeah, this position of the sound hole, because it's a copy and it's really sort of a copy of a vintage guitar and an important historical guitar, it makes perfect sense to me. But I can maybe see why the idea didn't catch on, because I do think it feels interesting to the player. But for a collector, or for someone who's really interested in a period instrument or a copy of a period instrument, it's incredible.
Perhaps I find this a little bit like you, distracting. But the main thing, of course, of a guitar is the sound,
Yeah.
and this guitar sounds really quite incredible.
Yeah.
The lower E is just remarkable. It has an incredible depth and weight and power, but it doesn't take anything away from the treble. The treble is sweet. It responds incredibly well to vibrato, to colour, and it's just one of those guitars that you pick up and really don't want to put down.
So you played the Taraga Prelude on it. Why did you choose that particular piece?
I think that particular Taraga Prelude, being in E major, lends itself quite well to this guitar, which has this incredible low E string. You become aware of a sound which is really quite exquisite. A type of sound that you don't really get in a lot of guitars, I think, especially modern guitars. There's a sense in a lot of modern guitars that luthiers are almost trying to iron out what they might perceive as imperfections in an instrument. But in actual fact, some of these tonal characteristics are not so much imperfections, but qualities that make a guitar what it actually is. And I think when you take a piece like Taraga, and of course Taraga would have played a type of guitar, not a Simplicio, but a guitar which had similar qualities, a deep bass, a beautiful lyrical treble. It just seems to work on this guitar. Nothing's lost in this guitar. A lot of guitars with a very deep bass, you actually lose the sweetness in the treble, but this guitar has sweetness in abundance. It's really wonderful.
It also accepts your vibrato, really easily, because some guitars don't. Some guitars, if you move at all on the fret, obviously really good guitars will accept vibrato, but what I mean is if you really choose to really quite seriously agitate the note with your vibrato, it can easily distort or buzz quite a lot, but that is really accepting of vibrato.
It's a very easy guitar to play.
Yeah, super easy. One of the things I was really struck by was just the detail. I mean, I know it's a copy, so obviously he has a lot to work with because I'm sure he got plans for the original Simplicio guitar, but the purfling and all the little elements of design are really incredible all over the guitar. But his craftsmanship is really incredible on this instrument, and he's an American luthier, but he's living in Spain, and I'm not sure if he thinks he's American or he thinks he's Spanish, but he's obviously got the Spanish flag down here on the bridge, which is quite a funny little touch.
So you played an Irish piece on this guitar, Matthew. I was wondering why you chose that particular work.
Yeah, it's a lovely tune, and of course, because the guitar's so beautiful, I thought, right, okay, play this Irish melody because it's really nice. But there's an interesting other motive for playing that particular piece is it's a sort of harp arrangement, and it has all these high chords that you sort of play with the melody really on the D string. So the melody's sort of in the centre of the guitar but very high up, and then you've got a lot of these over-ringing chords. And I thought, well, if I'm spending a lot of my time above the 12th fret, you're really seeing the beautiful sort of quality of the guitar. You're also dealing with this issue, I guess, of the sound hole, because I thought, well, if the sound hole feels like it's in an odd place, that would be a very difficult place to sort of play. But as you can sort of see when I'm playing it, it doesn't really adversely affect the position of your hand at all. And I kind of thought at first it might do, but then no, it was really comfortable. And of course that piece then, you hear the real, the E string's tuned down to D, so you really get to explore that really rich bass that the guitar has by going all the way down there to that low D at times as well. So just a piece that sort of, you know, when you're trying a guitar, I mean, you'll know this yourself, when you're trying a guitar you try to explore all the areas of it that you're going to have to use in a concert or in your repertoire, so you want to know that they all work. In that place it's very lyrical, it's very slow, but it explores very much the high region of the guitar and then the low region of the guitar. So how does the sustain work through every range, and how much will it accept, you know, in both ranges. So it's quite a good test actually, that piece, to see if everything's as it should be. And for a very unique sort of copy guitar, it's incredibly playable and really beautiful, and it is one of those guitars that you would just want to have.